Well, here is the Cadillac in all its glory outside of the garage in the sunshine. It's missing a few bits of trim, and some of the trim's bent up, and it ain't perfect, but sure is fun. Got her down the driveway. Had a little issue with her running out of gas because the hose under here leaks where you fill it up, and the cap doesn't really seal, so it just after it sits for a while it just kind of drains out and evaporates. But yeah, December '94. And we also had an issue with the tranny fluid. There wasn't as much in it as I thought. You checked it when we first got it, there's a bunch in there, and then checked it again after we had it running. There's plenty in there, but of course when you put it in gear and move it after all those years, there was no fluid in anything else, so it sucked down. But we went ahead and filled her back up, and works good now. So pretty sweet. Gonna need a lot of work, but at least she moves and stops now that we got that all the brake stuff worked out. Awesome. Well, I kind of jumped ahead a little bit and went ahead and took apart the carburetor. I was going to wait for my brother to come back and take it apart and clean it up and have him rebuild it, but yeah, that didn't go to plan. I got too ahead of myself, so I went ahead and I took it apart. It's pretty dang filthy there in the bowl, so we're going to have to clean this up real good, and all the parts, replace all the gaskets, all that fun stuff, get everything adjusted right, and then put it back on the car after we're all done. Now I'm saying this now, but it probably changed. I'm going to wait for my brother to come back so he can clean it and put it back together, so he can at least get some idea of how they go back together, how they work. But that may change too. I may just get a wild hair and go ahead and put her back together, clean it up and put it back together. I don't know yet. I'll wait until I feel ambitious, too ambitious to wait. It may only be a day or two or something, but we'll see. But it's apart. We had it running there the other day and drove it a little bit. Once we get this back together and adjusted, we'll probably change out the transmission fluid, a couple of hoses, and then be ready to take her on a little longer drive, I think, or at least have it running a little bit longer. Well, this has nothing to do with the carburetor I'm rebuilding, but decided to go ahead and take the valve cover off of the Oldsmobile here, just to look at it, make sure the valve springs are good, and everything was freed up and moving the way it should, and it is, which is a good thing, I guess. But there's still something wrong in that number 5 cylinder, so I'm eventually going to have to pull the head, which means pull the intake and the exhaust on this side at least, and flip it over and see if I can figure out what's wrong. I think I got a burnt valve there, but at least it's not a valve spring. Something simple like that I could fix, but I'm going to have to wait until I get a little money saved up before I pull it apart, because I don't want to pull it apart and then have to wait to put it back together, because that's the death of a project. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw the valve cover back on, call it all good, and then hopefully my brother will show up and I'll be able to get some carb cleaner and dip this bowl, everything in there, and clean it up. Well, nothing's gone on with the carburetor lately. I've been waiting for my brother to come get it, or to come work on it, but he hasn't showed up in like 2 weeks. I'm kind of waiting on him to get some dip so we can clean the carburetor, some carb cleaner. But I talked to my uncle the other day, and he had some. So I may just go down to his place and do it. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. I've had a sore throat for a few days, but that's alright. And then of course Banana came the other day, took apart the engine, the carburetor. got aluminum heads on it, so I can make a couple of bucks on that, I guess. And I got some new shelving my uncle brought over. A friend of his was getting rid of it, and I did some work on his car, so he said I could have it. It's awesome. There's a 3.5 gallon parts washer coming too, but apparently there's a duck nesting under it or something, so I can't have it yet, but that's alright. Got the Bananas channel going. She won't be on every day, and she won't put videos on every day. I've been uploading them for her because she doesn't have the internet or a computer or a camera, so I'll be doing most of that work. But just figured I'd go ahead and put an end to this video. I've been waiting to put it up, but I haven't had, and it hasn't gone anywhere. So that's about it for now, I guess. When he comes back, if I don't already have it together, I suppose we'll video him putting it back together. But I guess until then,